Hey friends, it's Stacy with Stacy Makes. I own a small crochet business called Apple Tree Boutique where I make plushies mostly and some accessories, and I sell at markets and in a local boutique. So I am just bringing you another what I made this week and a review of a few things that are new for me this week, and I'm going to talk about how I price my items and how I tag them for the markets and how I store my plushies when I'm done pricing and tagging them and things for the market. So grab a drink. I've got my trusty Diet Mountain Dew today. It's much needed. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to apologize in advance. I'm going to try to edit as little as possible again, like I did last week. Which like last week may lead to a couple equipment failures or some interesting moments. Who knows? But I will tell you, it is spring here in the Midwest, and that means allergy season, and I have already sneezed 6 bajillion times this morning, so I may have to edit just to edit those sneezes out, so we'll see how that goes. So, okay, first of all, let's get into pricing. How I price my items in particular is I go off of an hourly rate and cover my materials cost. So I base a little bit of it on size. So if it's a bigger item and I can round up because it's bigger and I feel like I can get a little bit more out of it, I will. So there are some items where I skew a little high, I skew a little low, and I feel like they can just kind of offset each other just so that they'll sell, especially if it's something that I really like to make. So a good example of that would be, let's just take this baby turtle that I made this week. I'll make a pattern or look at the clock and just kind of keep track of my general time. Of course, I watch TV. I interact with my children, things like that, while I'm crocheting on my couch. But in this particular instance, I did go ahead and time myself making this turtle, and it took 20 minutes. So 20 minutes, and I like to charge minimum $15 an hour, and max is 20. When I just calculate a rate anyway. Usually on small items that take me under an hour, I use the 20. It is when I get into the bigger items that I go ahead and I go down to 15 just to make them more marketable. And I'm okay with that. I would be making $0 sitting on my couch in the evenings crocheting if I didn't. But I also want to be fair to myself and to other crocheters that are pricing their items and trying to make a living off of this. But anyway, so 20 minutes at $20 an hour. I took $20 an hour and I divided it by minutes. And I got, it's like 0.33333 cents a minute. And so I took that number and I'm just like, let's just say it's 35 cents. So I take 35 cents and I multiply it by how many minutes it took me. So if it took me 20 minutes, I take 20 times 35 cents. Which is $7. So this takes $7. I don't use a calculator for my materials. I don't sit and weigh anything. I don't get into Excel spreadsheets, which I actually love Excel spreadsheets. I'm going to use them at my work and I'm pretty good at them, but I don't go to that degree with them. I don't want to make it too complicated. Not saying that there aren't some great spreadsheets out there that make it less complicated, but anyway. So I'm at $7. And that's on the high end, right? Remember that it was $20 an hour and it's 0.333. So I actually put 0.35 and took it times 20. So I just this actually came out of my scrap bin, this material did, but it's still material, right? But I know that, I mean, these eyes cost me pennies. The stuffing inside is so minimal. It's pennies. The yarn itself, I mean, I never pay more than $8 for a skein of yarn, and this took, I mean, an eighth of a skein of yarn is $1, right? I mean, this took half of maybe of that. I mean, you're talking about maybe 30, 40, 50 cents worth of yarn. So I don't do anything super complicated with my cost of materials outside of, I'm just kind of paying attention to how fast my ball of yarn goes down. If I feel like it's a lot, I think, gosh, that was a third of that ball of yarn and it's $8. I mean, I got to charge at least, $2.50. But anyway, so I'll round these up and I sell these for $8. And I feel like that covers, I'm adding $1 for materials. That covers well over my time because at 35 cents a minute, I'm actually making more than $20 an hour plus materials. And these little guys sell at $8. So if I got $8 and it was a super, super small item, and I was like, I just can't sell it for that, I still feel fine going down to say $6, and I'm still making $15 an hour at that rate. So that's just kind of how I calculate it. I don't try to make it too complicated, but if you want to get down into the nitty gritty of every fine little detail, there are a lot of pricing spreadsheets out there. There are scales where you can weigh your yarn before, you can weigh your yarn after, you can weigh your plushie after and help you calculate how much filling is in there and how much filling costs. You don't want to really leave anything out. You know, you don't want to miscalculate and really underpay yourself. Okay, whew, sorry about that. So you don't want to underpay yourself, obviously, and you want to make sure that you're covering your materials. But so let's talk about, that's how I price my items. Once I had this notebook that I bought, it's just off of Amazon. And then once I sit down and I write down what I made for the week, sorry, allergies. Oh my gosh, this is going to kill me. Okay, so when I sit down and I write down, like, let's just use this week's for an example. So this is what I made this week. And at the end of the week, when it's still very fresh in my mind, I write down everything that I made. I keep it in a certain space in my office / craft room. It's really just a craft room. Anyway, I keep it in a place here, and I write all it down, and then I think about how long each one took me. Sometimes I have to go back to my notes. Sometimes I calculate it right when I do it and think that's got to be this, so I know whether or not I want to make more. Anyway, so I write it down. Now, if it's something I've made before, like for instance, I made a gecko this week, spoiler alert, I'll look back, be like, oh, I made geckos a couple weeks ago. I said 15, and so I wrote down 15. So I want to make sure that my pricing is consistent for what I'm calculating, but also this book. So this book gives me like, oh, I made one of these, I remember that I liked them. How much did I say I was going to charge for those? And this comes in really handy. Like when I sat down last night and I did all of my inventory and I priced all of my items, I don't know how many times I flipped back, because I don't remember how long the unicorn took me now that I made 2 weeks ago, but maybe that was 3 weeks ago. Wow, it was 3 weeks ago. But I do remember that week when I did calculate it and wrote it down, what I thought I at least had needed to get out of it. So I looked back at that price so that I didn't have to remember 3 weeks now exactly what it was that I needed to get out of that item. So that comes in super handy. And like last night, it came in really handy because I made a lot of new things that I didn't have prices for yet. So I sat down last night with my notebook. I got out all of my plushies. So first of all, I went through my bags. So let me show you how I keep my plushies. Here's one of my, these are like moving bags off of Amazon. I'll try to leave a link down in the description so you guys can get an idea. They're huge, right? So once I am done with the market, everything that I have made that is priced goes into those bags. They might need a little bit of fluff. Oh my gosh. Okay. They might need a little bit of fluffing. But I mean, I don't overstuff them and I don't stack them on top of each other. But I get those out. I got those out last night. And they already had price tags on them. And I pulled everything out and I wrote everything down into my notebook so I could do inventory. I sold some things locally, and then I took another load of things up to the antique mall. So I knew that the inventory that I had after the last market, which was 6-7 weeks ago, was not going to be accurate anymore. And I just wanted to know exactly what it was I was starting with. And then I got out everything. I have a shelf over here, which maybe I'll insert a picture for you that you guys can see it. But I have a shelf over there, which actually is new. And it has some bins on it, and I have $5, $8, $10, $12, $15 bins where I'm throwing things that are those price points into those bins as I make them after I've done my video for the week. And then those things I don't price necessarily. Every single one of those I have $5, $8, and $10 bins at the market. And then once I get to 12, 15, I do like to actually put price tags on them because sometimes we set them out without the bins. So I did recently change the way that I tag my things. Let me pull one of my items out of here. Let's just do Finley. So this is Finley the frog from Madeline Mako. He's so cute. this is my old tagging method. So my tags are pretty much the same, but I rebranded my logo. So these are my old logos. So this is my tag on one side, and then the other side is just blank where I wrote a description and a price. And I was using these safety pins and going through and at first we were taking these safety pins off when we were sold, but we got to where, one, people would buy 2, 3 things, you know, and hold on, let me get this put away. Okay, I'm back. People would buy several things, and you had several people in line maybe to pay, and it just trying to get those off there without poking yourselves. And we thought, you know what, this is probably maybe not the safest method with these pokey things on here, because you send them off with a kid sometimes and the parent doesn't take the tag off and you're like, ah. So I was searching and searching, trying to find a way to attach my tags, which these are my new ones. Just have my new logo on them. And then the back, I actually put like a price place and like an item description, and the bottom just says item is handmade, wash with care. There is more wash instructions on my actual business cards that I send with people when they buy bigger plushies, especially. But so these are my new ones. They actually have a hole, so let me poke it out so you can see what I'm talking about. I get these from Vistaprint. I don't remember how many. I think I got 250 for, I don't remember how much. I don't feel like they were that expensive, but I designed them on Canva, but then I used Vistaprint. And then I found these these hang tag, I don't know what they're called. I'll put a link in the description below. The worst part about these, they have a locking mechanism. So like this box has an area right here where this, if I can get the camera to not focus on me, or this goes into this thing, and if you push it far enough, it locks it in there. The bad thing about them is that I can only find them in 7 inches long, so it's pretty long. And then I put this through here, and then I used a crochet hook, inserted it underneath a stitch, pulled this through there, and then I would lock this into this box here like this. And if somebody does want the tag removed, we can just clip these strings. It'll be much faster than taking off safety pins, and then it'll ruin these, but I mean, were super cheap. So, and then, or if when they get home, they can cut that string just as well, or they can leave the tag on there. If they're going to gift it, then I'd actually have my information on it. So that's my new tag. Here's one actually on a plushie hanging here. So here's kind of what it looks like. Okay, I'm going to insert a video here of me pricing everything and tagging everything last night if you want to watch it. So. Okay, so let's get into, we went over how I store my plushies after they're priced and ready for the market. We went over how I price them, how I come up with my price, and how I actually physically tag things. And then if you see my market prep video, which I'll add maybe a link up in the corner to that video, where you could see our baskets that had the little clothespin chalkboard signs that had prices on them. So items that are certain prices, we don't put a tag on every single one of them. So, okay, so let's talk about what I made this week, and then we'll go over the total inventory that I have at this point to take. My market is actually next Saturday, so I have 6 days before the market. So I don't like to wait until the last minute to do all of my pricing and tagging and everything, because it's just, I don't like to do it as I go either, but it's just super overwhelming. So I've started to do it the weekend before and getting it out of the way, getting it on paper, and then just adding to it what I made that week, and only having to price and tag and put away the things that I made just that week took so much stress off of pre-market. So hold on a second. So if you know what it's like to prep for a market, you know I'm talking about that anxiety sometimes of that week leading up to there, where you feel like you have so many things that you want to crochet, you have so many things that need prices, you have so many things you need to pack, You have so many things that you need to pack into the car, all of your props, all of your shelving, all of your tables, all of your signs. Get your price tags, make your signs, get those things ready. That pricing everything that you made can take a day or two of your evening, especially if you work full time or you have little babies and you got to do it when they're asleep. Just it can take 1 or 2 of your whole evenings. I mean, it took me a good hour and a half last night with minimal interruptions trying to get all that stuff done. So okay, what I made this week. Let's get to it. First thing, and I have a few new patterns in here, so I will talk about and review the patterns while I'm talking about the brand new things. And this is Baby Froggy by one of my faves, Madeline Mako. She just released this pattern on Friday. I actually had the pleasure of kind of pre-testing it for her before she released it. So that was super fun. She's a sweetheart. We actually don't live that far away from each other, but we've never met. Anyway, Baby Froggy, super cute. Pattern clarity is always great. This actually has a new method in there where she shows you how to attach these legs without having to sew this gap, which is really genius once you understand. And then she's got a video actually pinned. I don't know if it's pinned, but she's got a video like for everybody, not just for people who buy the pattern, but for everybody to learn this method on her Instagram. So if you want to go check that out, it's a really neat like decrease stitch method for attaching the legs, and I did not need to sew anything here, and that was amazing. So not that I mind sewing the hole, because it is something that I do. So the pattern clarity was super clear. You do have to sew these eyes on, and to the head I used sewing sticks from Melly Inspired Crochet, just to kind of hold them in place, make sure that it didn't get them crooked. I do say a lot, don't I? Oh my gosh. If I edited out every I would be here all day. Okay, let's just try to focus and maybe not say so much. Pattern clarity was wonderful. The outcome was adorable. Marketability is great. This is the baby size of like the baby cows, the teeny animals that I make that I charge minimum $24 for at the markets. So Baby Froggy is going up for sale for 24 bucks. And this is the new Burnett yarn that I reviewed a couple weeks ago. It's like that new marbly look that is just like so dreamy to work with. This yarn is so freaking soft. And it's just so, I mean, for our Burnett yarn, it's like the softest of the variations I think I've tried so far. And it just comes out with this really cool marbled look, which is a neat variegated. So Baby Frog, pattern clarity, 2 thumbs up always for Madeline Mako stuff. So my next make is this mouse by Magnolia Makes. And if you know the book, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, came out in 1985, which is the year my younger brother was born. And we were just like 2 peas in a pod when we were little. I was like his little mini mama. I loved babies, and he was just, I loved spending time with him. I watched him in the summers once he got older as well, and I was older. And I remember reading this book to him. We had this book. We didn't have a whole lot of hardcover books, and I remember that we owned this book, and I read this book a lot. And so when I saw this pattern, I'm like, this is just adorable. I just needed to make it for me for this nostalgia. It was just like, it was so cute. The actual original pattern comes with a cookie backpack. So it actually would have a backpack that goes around with those straps, and he actually would have a backpack on his back. Instead of doing that, it comes with this pocket. I thought I'm just going to make myself a little mini chocolate chip cookie that can go in his pocket. It doesn't fit in there real great. It's bigger than the pocket, and my pocket's just a little bit off center. But, I have a price tag on this thing for $45. I do not know that I really actually want to sell it. And so if I don't sell it at the next market, it's probably going to go up on my shelf with things that I made just for myself, because I just really enjoyed this. I did add a little bit more embroidery on the nose than the pattern called for, and I did add these little embroidered places, kind of like eyelids above his eyes, that I just felt like added a little personality to him. But anyway, this pattern clarity was great. I had 0 issues with this pattern. You do have to sew ears on, the head to the body, which again I used my sewing sticks. The arms you crochet into the round, the body you have to sew part of this pocket on and make the overalls, which I did a little bit different than her pattern. But anyway, pattern clarity was great. The outcome is, I mean, he's just cute. Marketability, obviously this is going to land on the higher range. you're probably going to be able to find somebody who either just really loves mice or remembers this book as well, that would pay the price of this thing, because he's not huge, but he's not small. I mean, he's my head. So he's a cutie. Anyway, great pattern. Marketability, I would say, you know, I'll make one, I'll take it. If it doesn't sell, I'm actually going to keep this one. I didn't make it necessarily for it to be something that I sell at the market, but it's cute. Cute, cute, cute. Oh my gosh. Okay, other new patterns that I tried this week. Sad hamster. So if you know the TikTok meme, you know the hamster meme. Sorry. Where there's a little sad hamster. I think she's even like crying, but she's got a little pink bow. I did not expect this. This is a free pattern on Instagram by Knots by Jack. And I did not expect this was Sweet Snuggles Light. And it's way bigger than I expected it to be. And so when I realized that, I only had the eyes that I had in stock. I do have one size bigger than this, and I just wasn't sure that I wanted to use this. And I didn't have solid black ones. A really solid black would have just really made it. And she said 30 to 40 millimeter eyes, and I should have listened, so I didn't. But anyway, I put cute little glitter, like black, pink glitter eyes on it. Pattern clarity was great. I mean, obviously I had no problems with it. It's got a little stubby tail. When I did the color changes for the feet, I freehanded the little bow, and I think it turned out super, super cute. So this was something else new that I did this week. Oh, and I am going to price the little sad hamster for $15. Put it in the $15 bin. This is a new thing I tried this week. I actually revisited this pattern. This is Triceratops by Club Crochet. And I had made this pattern way back in the beginning of crocheting. I was seeing everybody making Triceratops, and I was pretty new to amigurumi, and I thought, I'm going to make one of those. Everyone's making 6 billion of them in rainbows, and they're so cute. And I really struggled with it back then. So I was like, I thought those are super hard, and I'm never going to make another one. But I'm like, I kept seeing them again, and I'm like, I really just wanted like something simple, one piece, no sew, that was a little bit bigger, you know, like than baby dinos or baby turtles. So I got this pattern back out. It is free. I used the one on their website and just followed along. And actually, I think I downloaded the PDF actually. So pattern clarity was kind of, I think because you're meant to watch it with the video, which I did the first time, the actual written pattern PDF clarity is not super clear on some things, like where the eyes actually go, where the horns actually get attached, that kind of thing. But I knew because I had done the pattern with the video before, so you might struggle through that a little bit if you just print the PDF. So I would suggest actually watching the video. This is made with the Jumbo Sweet Snuggles Light new colorway, variegated colorway. Super cute. And then on the horns, I ended up doing my slip stitched in chain 2, single crocheted back into the second chain for my hook, and then I just tied it back in. That's what I ended up doing for these, instead of actually making separate horns and sewing them on. So super quick make, probably about a half an hour. And I put $12 on him. I don't know if I'm going to make a whole bunch more. It wasn't hard. I just didn't really enjoy having to do these horns 3 times. But other than that, he's cute. It's very marketable, and the outcome's cute. So, okay. Anything else new this week? I guess these would be new. So I decided I needed to do something non-plushy, maybe more baby related. And I used to make pacifier clips when, I was a seamstress before, and I used to make sewn ones, and I sold them pretty well. They were a nice little low price item. So I followed this tutorial by CJ Design, which is the same. I'll link below. She's got a YouTube. I actually followed the YouTube tutorial. And she's the one that made Fred the Turtle's pattern as well. She made this in normal acrylic yarn, and then at the end noted that it's really cute in velvet. And I'm like, yes, I needed to make it in velvet because it's just soft and so plushy, and it's just like, oh my gosh, it's pretty dreamy feeling. But these work up super, super fast, like 5 minutes, and takes me just like a minute or two to like weave in every end and secure them all. And then these pacifier clips I just got off of Amazon. So I made 4 of these this week. And here they are. So I'm going to sell these for $5. We'll see how they go. I've got a couple more colors I haven't made into pacifier clips, so this is something that's on my list this week, is to maybe make another handful of these. I know for my local market. Scrunchies are another thing that was on my list of things. I made scrunchies before, and my local scrunchies sell really well. I'm actually out in the antique mall, and I'm like, so when I bought some of this Juicy Couture yarn to do scrunchies and pacifier clips, I'm like, I need to make more of those. This one's bigger than the other ones because it uses treble crochets around, and then this one just uses double crochets around. You can see the size difference is quite, I think I'm just going to do the doubles. But these are super fun. I made 3 of these this week, and I'm going to sell them for $3 a piece. I made a gecko with a gumdrop yarn. These are 15. I got into, oh wait, let me do one more. I freehanded this little sad hamster after I made the great big one and realized that it was great big, and I didn't think I could, I was just imagining like a basket full of these little sad hamsters. And little kids that watch TikTok, like my son watches TikTok, and he's the one that like sent me this thing. He's like, hey, you need to make this sad hamster. It's so cute. But anyway, I just freehanded this one and a little bow on it. So I made that. I think I'm going to try to put him in the $10 bin, make a bunch of them and put them in for 10. We'll see. 10 might be too much, but I made a, oh, hold on. So I did another little challenge. I think last week I touched on this a little bit. This is full of burlap blanket, like skeins that don't have very much left in them. And so I sat down one night and just thought, how much can I make out of this basket full of burlap blanket, and the scraps, can I use any of them up? Okay, so the baby turtle came out of that. These sell for $8. I made 2 octopi. These sell for $5. I made 1 chubby dino. This is that free pattern on Instagram by Nikolai Crochets and Celestial CB Crochets. And I made a scrappy Fred the Turtle in blues, which is scrappy. It's super cute. So I made all of these things one night. So it's what, 10, 20, 28 plus 25. $53 worth of stuff out of the scrap bin yarns. So those are also going into my inventory. And then my last but not least was I'm working on my next tag along, and I'm not done, I don't think, perfecting this, but this is going to be obviously it's a rabbit. I need to work a little bit more on this embroidery, but you can see, so I've got 4 out right now. I've got a frog, a monkey, a mouse, and a bee. And hopefully this rabbit will be the next one to join the little clan. So that's everything I made this week. It was $208 in inventory. Total inventory, I did it all up. I have $2,693 worth of inventory. I have 60 tiny, so that's $5 items. I have or $5 to $7 items, sorry. Tiny is $5 to $7 items, so that's all my keychains, my plushie keychains, and my $5 bin of like octos and things like that. So I have 60 of those. Also in the $5 range is all the scrunchies and the keychain wristlets. I have 39 of those, so I have lots of $5 to $7 items, a total of 99. Small items, which are $8 to $12, I have 71. Mediums, which are 15 to 24, I have 36. Large, which is 25 to 40, I have 19. And jumbos, which is 45 plus, I have 7. So I do have, you know, the number got progressively smaller, and that is my goal. I obviously stock high in the tiny, small, and then, you know, the medium range, and then the large, I get less and less items. So that's what I'm bringing to the market. But anyway, so hopefully next week should be a market blog and market breakdown. I have family coming into town next weekend for the eclipse, and that are staying here at my house. So there's just, I don't know, outside of, you know, my daughter's birthday and her events, and getting all my things packed up and in my car, that I'm going to stress too much this week. Remember to like and subscribe, obviously. I appreciate all of you. I have just, again, grown just so much faster than I ever imagined on here. And so hopefully that's because you're finding whatever I'm putting out there useful. Always feel free to comment things that you agreed with, disagreed with, things you liked, what your favorite thing was, things you'd like to see me do in the future. I did put up a poll about whether or not you guys would like to see maybe like once a month doing just kind of a live crochet and chat, kind of a Q&A kind of thing. If you want to go vote on that, if you are into that kind of thing, we'll see. I don't know. Me live is just kind of scary. But anyway, so like and subscribe. I appreciate you all. Thank you for being here. Have a great week crocheting or doing whatever else is that you enjoy doing, and we will see you next week, guys, for a market update and breakdown. So thank you. Have a great week. Bye, friends.